Australia. And with us today is Mirna. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Not too bad.
You know, they say that don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about your problems of tomorrow because it's already tomorrow in Australia. So
True.
I shouldn't be worried
True.
about
It's
anything.
like 5 p.m. My day is like finished. So
Yeah, we're just starting. We're just starting. So it's going to be a good day because your evening is already nice. If I could use that logic.
I know it's never too bad. It's never always that bad. Yeah. It's never that bad. Let's just say that. Yeah.
How's life down under for an immigrant? How does it? I mean, you're working. You've lived. How long have you lived in Australia now?
Almost 10 years now. It's been a while.
Been a while.
I know, right? I don't know. It's okay. Like we are from Kenya,
Yes.
right?
Right.
The people here they have the same sort of mentality as people from Kenya. They're chilled. They like a good laugh. There's lots of barbecue and beers flowing. I think it's the same sort of, and people talk to each other like strangers really do talk to each other, especially if you leave the city and
Right.
go to the outback.
Up country, yeah.
Where we call up country, they call it outback.
Oh.
So yeah, I know it's the outback. So yeah, I think the people are like us, the same,
Okay.
but different.
One thing that I've noticed about you is that for the past few weeks, I've seen sort of a rejuvenation of Mirna. So
Oh hell yes, I am living my best life.
so what brought about this? What happened?
I don't know. Divorce. Let's start from there. That happened.
That happened.
Oh, it's still happening. But
it's still
because
happening.
it takes a while.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't apply and then boom, you're given your certificate. So I'm still waiting for the certificate. Then I can have a party.
Oh, yeah, people do that these days. Divorce party.
Exactly.
So why did you get divorced? Why did you get divorced?
Why did I get divorced? So many things. I can't say a single thing. I can't really pinpoint one thing,
Right.
but it was an accumulation of things. People grow up. I'll put it that way. People grow
Right.
up, and if you're not developing on the same level, and you find there's that disconnect, and if you're not finding common ground, because the same person I can't say 5 years ago I'm the same person I am now.
Right.
You're either growing, you're stagnant, stuck in a rut, or something. So I think I outgrew the marriage.
Okay.
I outgrew the marriage, and the things I wanted to do were not on the table. It was not negotiable.
Right.
So yeah, it was just, I can't pinpoint one simple, say this happened.
It was an accumulation of
it was just an accumulation of things, and then you end up you're dissatisfied with where you are, and your mind is like, you find yourself in that zone where you're not happy. You're constantly not happy. And at the root of it, you feel like you're stuck in a rut. So what do?
Get divorced.
So that's not really.
Right.
You give it a try,
Of course, people just don't. You just didn't work out. I mean, the difference, at least from what I've read and the experiences that I've heard, is that women can still be in a relationship physically and be out mentally. I think for men it's a little bit more challenging to be able to divide those. It will come out quite early if a man is dissatisfied in a
Yes.
relationship. But I think for a woman, it's very hard to tell until she probably starts expressing it, or then she just shocks a guy and say, okay, this is
where men get it wrong.
Yeah.
This is where men get it wrong.
Yes.
By the time you get the shock, the woman has told you for so long how dissatisfied she is. But the thing is, men never take it serious. So when they're taking it serious, that door is already shut. The woman's like, she's not emotionally there. She's just, you can see her, but emotionally she's already shut down and she's thinking of a way out. That is the time men wake up and they're like, oh, they're scrambling around, but you're scrambling for nothing. There's nothing left.
It's too late.
For you to scramble for. It's already too late. That door is shut.
Right.
This woman has been trying to tell you, and women do it over a course of years. They'll try and, communicate and show you how dissatisfied they are, or mention things and this and that. And then they're never taken serious. So when they start being cold and distant, that's when the man's like, oh my God, what's going on? It's already too late. That door is shut. And 99% of the women I know won't go back. That's it.
What happened in your case? I mean, did you, over what period of time were you dissatisfied, and what did you do?
Oh, for a long period of time. My marriage was in crisis for 3 years.
Right.
And you try, because I come from an African setting. So that's why you stay for too long. I come from an African setting where you're meant to hold everything together.
Yes.
It's made like it's your responsibility to hold everything together.
Yeah.
Yes. And if the marriage falls apart or the family falls apart, it's all you.
On you.
Oh, you failed. Big time. And then you're there trying to hold everything together. You're trying to have like a vision or, a way forward for the family and things like that.
Right.
We had none. We had no vision. We were just existing.
Right.
And the interests that he had were not my interests, because I'm trying to figure out financially where we are going to be and, that sort of thing. And he lacked that sort of direction. And it seemed like I'm pushing him.
Right.
So that was like a major thing. It seemed like I was pushing for that all the time. And he was just satisfied to be where we were, while I wasn't. So in a course of 3 years, you're trying to do things. And every time you start a project or you're trying to self-improve, it's sort of squashed.
Right.
He lost me a few really good opportunities. And I could not understand why he had to meddle in my business and like wreck something that had good potential. So that was like job-wise. And it really got to me, because I'm thinking, what the hell is going on?
Because this is for us. It's for us, not yes.
Because you have that mentality of it's not me.
Yes.
Yeah. But if someone squashes you a few times and you're there, you're thinking, why do I even bother? And then you think, okay, so we have kids, we have to think it out. I even suggested going to a marriage counselor, which I booked us in. He didn't show up.
Okay.
So I went for the session on my own.
Right.
Like 3 sessions on my own. And the lady's like, why are you even here? Why are you here? Because clearly you're in this marriage alone.
Right.
So when I did that and he wasn't participating, I stopped. And that's when I think when I left the last appointment.
Bulb.
That was
Light
it.
bulb. Yeah.
And my mind went to, okay, you are a person who starts from scratch. What's next? And that was it. That's when, so even when he suggested, like, at the very tail end, he would book us in to go for marriage counseling. He did that so many times. And I showed up, but I was done. I even told the marriage
You were already
counselor,
gone mentally. Yeah.
I'm gone.
Mm.
I'm gone. And the only reason why I attended those marriage counts was to maintain peace. Because if there's something I don't like is confrontation, because I was never raised in a household where people raise their voices and, you know, never saw my parents fight.
Yes.
So I don't know how to come to a confrontation.
Right.
Like, I'm not equipped.
Right.
And I think that's something they failed at. I am really not equipped for like a proper confrontation. I tend to shut down.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help. Helps no one. But that's just how things just fell apart.
What about the children? Because most of the time, especially, I think your kids are...
Yeah, they're pretty young.
Yes. So what kids usually do is that they find a way to blame themselves for a separation or a divorce. They see all the fingers pointing at them, even though that's not the case.
No, yeah.
How have you dealt with that?
So my youngest, she's too young to quite understand what's going on.
Right.
So in her head, she knows mom's gone to work. Mom walks away. And for now, that works.
Right.
But my 9-year-old, he's starting to come to terms with something's happened.
Right.
So I tried to tell my ex, we need to sit down and talk to him, both of us. But he's still bitter.
Okay.
He's being bitter and he's being petty.
So you've not had the conversation. You've not had this conversation.
Not the three of us. I wish we did. Yeah. So I've had the conversation with him on my own.
All right.
And I've explained things to him and the best way that I can. And his response was like, Mom, do you know how many kids I go to school with that have like single moms and single dads? Is that all you're telling me?
Yeah.
And that was it. And I was like, okay.
He understands more than you think he understands.
So I was waiting for waterworks and all that. But that's all he said. And he said, I know people like, I have friends and sometimes we fall out. That's what's happened to you guys. So.
Wow, that's pretty deep for a 9-year-old.
I know.
I must say.
I know. Like, I have to say, when he said it, and he said it so nonchalant, it's like, it's not a big deal.
This is all around me, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not new. It's not, I'm not special or so. And that's how the conversation went.
Oh, nevertheless, probably still needs both of you.
I know.
Yeah.
So when the ex settles down, whenever that happens.
Right. You have to give him time because you, as we talked about this before, you already moved on before you moved on. You know what I mean? So he's just starting to move on. So, and that's what we guys do, because we, most of the time, as I told you, we are clueless until it's now, you know, the lights are blinking. And then it's like, oh my goodness, I have to fix this. But as you said, it's more or less usually too late. And
exactly, that door is usually shut, and
more often than not. Yeah.
And when you're not there emotionally, if you're not invested in it anymore, that's the stuff that keeps relationships alive. You have to be emotionally invested in the person, because most of the things don't make sense. Like, you just meet someone and you're like, oh yeah, this is my person. So if there is no emotions involved, what's holding you together? Nothing. So once you take that element out, you're both strangers again.
Now,
Yeah.
this is something that, of course, because this is someone that you lived with for a long
Yeah.
time and you had kids. I'm persuaded to say that the divorce cannot be entirely his fault.
Oh no.
Two
No.
people coming in
Oh,
together.
it takes two to tango.
So
It really
if I was sitting down with him right now and
oh
I'm asking him about you, what would he say?
he would say that I was cold, I was distant.
Mm-hmm.
He would tell you the one thing that I realized that I made was the biggest mistake that I made in the relationship, because you've got to learn. If you're not learning, you're not growing.
Yes.
My biggest thing was I was never appreciative, or if I was, I never articulated it.
Right.
I came from the mentality of this should be done.
So this is him speaking about you, or this is you telling me about you right now?
This is me telling you about me.
Okay.
But I know that's one thing he'll point out.
So there are these set roles that have to be completed by the other person that doesn't necessarily need appreciation. For you, there are day-to-day things that don't need any bells.
Exactly.
Right.
And I'm coming to realize that everyone needs to feel appreciated. Everyone. And it's from the most littlest things to big things. So I really neglected that part. Showing appreciation and articulating it.
Right.
I failed in that part. Like I got 1 out of 10.
Yeah, because it's important to ask this, because when we're talking about, this is the one side of the story, and I think that it's usually very, very prudent to also ask what would the other party say, and what have you learned, because there's a give and take. So what did you take away, and what did you leave there? And it's quite a revelation to actually admit that you are not appreciative as you believed you would have been.
Oh, I could have done better in that department. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So so that is one thing I'm very aware of. He will definitely point out other things that I wouldn't know.
Yes.
But that's the one thing, when I sat down and I reflected, because you get, especially with COVID, we had a lot of time to reflect.
Yes. Yes.
So it's like, I got time to really reflect and be like, okay, so where the hell did it all just go bust? And as much as you want to blame the other person, because that's where we come from, like, you just want to blame the other person, like, oh, they did me wrong and they did me dirty and stuff like that. But then you also have to think of yourself. What could I have done?
Right.
Where did I fail? You know? And that's when you realize, oh my God, I am growing up. I'm becoming mature because I'm becoming accountable.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, accountability. So, yeah.
What's the way forward, Mirna? I mean, you're dating.
Oh, I'm living. I'm living life.
You're dating again.
It is fabulous.
And I'm so happy for you. You know.
Oh my God. It's really nice. It's nice. I don't know why people get scared to date when you're older. I think it's also
do people get scared?
Yes, I know so many women were telling me, like when I wrote on my Facebook, because I wrote there so that, because I had this talk with my mom.
Yes.
My mom is in Kenya, and she was like, oh my God, the floodgates will be open if people find out. What am I going to tell them? And because she's on the ground, and I wanted to spare her the whole explaining, It's not her business to explain nothing to anyone.
Yes.
So I told her, if anyone asks you, ma'am, tell them to go read the post.
I will do the big announcement.
Address the nation. Here we are. This is it. Boom.
Right.
Anyone with anything to ask, well, you could ask, but I owe no one a justification of my actions.
Right. Nobody's walking in your shoes.
Hell no. So when people came at me then, oh, why are you doing this? I'm like, hold up. Don't ask me why I'm doing this. This is my life. I'm writing the script to my life. You write yours.
Yes.
That's just how.
As we said at the beginning, you know, we come from, the start is where we come from. I mean, of course, now if you go to Nairobi, every other person that I knew.
Exactly. Things have changed.
Things have changed a lot. But there is still the stigma that attaches to you, a chip in your shoulder there that attaches that. Yes.
Tell me about it.
And what you said is that the responsibility of the family is put on the woman. And yet we are two people coming together to make this work. So you know, breaking these mysteries and doing this for you and for your kids, because again, one thing is that you'd rather, it's a bit difficult raising kids in a toxic environment.
True.
So I'm happy that you're happy, you know. There is, I mean, nobody says, yeah, divorce is a wonderful thing, you know. It's
nobody.
I don't think that makes sense. You don't go into a marriage saying,
oh yeah,
this is my aim.
TikTok, like
this is my aim.
I'm waiting.
To walk away. No. But when it happens and when it happens after you've made all the steps to try to come to a consensus, then you move on. And it shows clearly. I mean, I would say that we didn't talk about this, but I would feel the vibe. You know how you can feel the vibe, and now I also feel the vibe, the positive vibe, the vibrancy, and everything. So I wish you all the best. I mean, the most important thing here is that the children are cushioned somehow, and that they get the love of both the parents.
Yeah, and that's the one thing we are still trying to find the balance, because like I said, he's still being bitter and petty. So we are going through mediation, because that's just the cards we've been dealt, and trying to work with that, because I understand that he has to go through self-healing of some sort. So I'm giving him that. I'm giving him the time to self-heal, because I know the kids are not going anywhere. They're there. They're there. They're not going anywhere. No one can erase your name like, oh my God, now you're not their mom, or you're not their dad. They cannot do that. So it's a case of just taking it day by day and seeing how things eventuate, but trying to work towards a better balance of things. But I don't think at this moment he's ready for that. Yeah.
And 7 stages of grieving, you know, it's it's totally allowed. It takes us time, men, to realize this and work through it.
He's dragging his feet.
As I said, man.
He's dragging it.
But I have to say one thing is that you all these years, because I think you haven't really changed, you know, the spirit is still there. So that's a good thing. And I think that's a good thing for your kids, that you're not, it didn't break you. One last thing, just to try to, someone who would be in your situation 3 years ago, what would you tell the you 3 years ago? when all this were unraveling? What advice would you give yourself 3 years ago?
I don't think I would have done anything different because I was desperate to make it work.
Right.
And I don't think the 3 years that went by were wasted because it was my attempt to try and build to stick together something we had built.
Right.
So it was me putting in the work. So I don't see it as time wasted. And it's not like I was in a rush to get out, or it wasn't a physical, like there was no physical abuse. There was obviously a bit of mental abuse, but I think it also depends with the person. I'm a very hard person to break because I have self-belief. So for someone who's in a situation where they're feeling unstable and they can't handle what's going on, my thing is leave, get organized. That's the first thing. Get organized. When you're organized, it's easy to leave.
Yes.
And it'll give you an excuse to leave.
Yes.
And then as soon as you leave that situation, there's this mental clearance that comes because you're not surrounded by the same person all the time, and your environment, because you're in a different environment, you get clarity. And then things that seemed so hard, because you're yourself again,
Okay.
But I can't tell anyone like I wasted the 3 years because I knew what I was doing. I was investing in something.
Yes.
And I can say I gave it my all. For me to be like, well, the all empties, like the tank is empty for all. So
and I think that's what gives you the peace, because you once you know that you tried, that you put your foot out there and you did what you had to do, even though it didn't work out, but then that gives you the peace because you did it. You didn't just sit there. Yeah. Awesome.
So 3 years ago, still do the same thing, still go through the ropes, try and salvage what's there. And I've come out, I don't know, same old me, but
wiser. Thank you so much for sharing this, and just telling us what you went through and the good space that you are in right now. So appreciative of that, and wish you well. Most importantly, wish your kids well, and please always walk us through this so that we know if there's a second wedding.
I don't think so, but you never
know. Say never. Never say never.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mirna. Take care. Have a nice evening. And we're just starting our day here, so we'll see you again. Ciao.
Ta-ta.